So today lesson is data collection and sampling. Here we have collection of all the things related to problem we called as population. Since limitation of time and money and other resources, we will not be able to study about all the individual or all the thing in the population. Therefore, as a remedy, statistician used technique called growing a sample from this population. That is, selecting a part of population and study characteristic of those selected part. We call as a sample. So in today's lesson, we will see what are the available sampling method to grow a sample from statistical population. When we are collecting data or growing a sample, we have two methods. We can conduct an experiment or do a experiment and collect data. For example, if you want to study the effect of particular fertilizer, then what you can do is you can select some paddy fields and apply that fertilizer. At the end of the experimental period, you can see what is happening and you can collect the data at the end of the experimental period. Those we call as the experimental data. Those data collected after doing an experiment. So sometime we will not be able to conduct an experiment or controlled experiment. In that case, we can collect data using a survey. As I explained, in the experiment, the researcher has control over the treatment, experimental unit, and most of other factors. Previous example, if we want to study the effect of fertilizer, then we can change the fertilizer and keep all other things constant. We can apply same amount of water to all paddy fields. We can manage pest and diseases in similar way. We can apply weedicide in same way and control weeds in similar manner. All these things we can control in the experiment. But when conducting survey, it is not possible. Assume we want to find out whether smoking is cause for cancer. In that setup, we will not be able to select some group of people and force them to smoke some cigarettes and select some other group or person. Experimenter do not have control over the subject. What he can do, he can observe what is happened in the society, what is existing in the society, and collect the data. Then using that data, he can draw a conclusion about his research question. So, like in research, cannot control experimental unit in the survey. Here, individual is the experimental unit. Sometimes it may be animal. In experimental jargon, this individual or animal or thing we are observing, we called as subject. So, experimenter cannot control way of eating, way of sleeping, way of traveling, working environment of subject in the case of survey. But if they are doing control experiment with animal or crop or any other thing, researcher may have control over the subject. He can change the environment or living pattern of those subjects. Then sampling. Sampling is defined as the process of getting sample from population. We have the statistical population. There, for study purpose, we select some individuals and we are studying only that individual. This selected part we called as sample, and this process we called as the sampling, process of selecting individual for the sample. We called as sampling. The two main advantage of sampling, as we discussed, fast data collection and low cost. Main disadvantage of sampling is sampling error. Sampling error. Sampling error is defined as deficit or difference between population information and sample information, or error caused by observing sample instead of observing whole population. So we can imagine that we will not observe same thing from the sample as observed in the population. For example, consider this 10 animal in a farm, and these are given the milk yield of each animal. Here, if we calculate the average milk yield of all the animal in the farm, it will be 5.3. So I have defined my population as all the animal in the farm. So my population mean is 5.3. So I selected this 3 individual as my sample. Then you can see the sample mean. Sample mean is 6. So you can see there is a difference between population mean and sample mean. This difference we called as sampling error. Assume instead of 3 individuals, we are going to increase our sample size. Now, my sample size is 4. I have added another individual into my sample. Now you can see this new sample will more represent the population. So now you can see the sample mean of new sample, that is 5.75. Here sampling error is 0.45. 0.45. Earlier it was 0.7, now 0.45. So when sample size increases, sampling error will reduce. When sample size increase, sampling error will reduce. Since the sample highly representing the population. Then we will study about the different sampling methods available to draw a representative sample. These are the methods used in selecting individual or subjects to include in the sample. To obtain a representative sample, a proper sampling method should be used. The selection of correct sampling method is extremely important to draw valid conclusion from that sample. When selecting a sample, we have to consider two things. One thing is type and nature of the population. Other thing is objective of the study. Objective of the study. If the population is homogeneous, we can use one sampling method. Sometimes if population is heterogeneous, we can use some other sampling method. Homogeneous mean all the individuals are similar. Heterogeneous mean some individuals are different from other individuals. And the objective of the study. Assume one researcher needs to study the IQ ability of your class. IQ ability of your class. So his objective is to study the IQ ability. So he can grow a random sample, randomly select 10 individuals from your class and give a paper, IQ paper, and evaluate your IQ ability. Assume some other researcher want to study the height of student in your class. In that case, student in your class consist of male and female. And we know, depending on the gender, height is vary. We know in Sri Lanka, male have high height than female. Female are shorter. Males are taller in Sri Lanka. So, if we implement simple random sampling, there is a possibility of all selected individual or most of selected student to be male. In that case, we calculate average of those selected individual and generalize it into your class as your class average. It will not fair because we have selected most of boys, and then that sample mean will be biased, and sample will be biased, and that sample mean will not represent your population because you have selected more male. It can happen vice versa also. If someone selected more female and gave it as your class average, so it will also be unfair. So in the second question, when studying height, we have to consider the gender of the student also. But in first instance, there is no evidence from literature IQ ability is not affected by gender. Therefore, we can select individual for our sample using simple random sampling. In this case, we have to use special sampling method. So, sampling method or type of sampling, we can broadly categorize into two groups as probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling method, also known as random sampling methods or representative sampling methods. Non-probability sampling methods also referred as judgment sampling or non-random sampling. These are the examples for random sampling method. Simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling. These are the examples for non-random sampling method. Volunteer sampling, convenient sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, snowball sampling, match sampling, and genealogy-based sample. Now, we will study most commonly used sampling method. Under this, we will study simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling, multi-stage sampling, and quota sampling. First sampling method is simple random sampling. In simple random sampling, each unit or each individual or each subject in the population have equal chance of inclusion in the sample. Any one of the population have equal chance of selecting to the sample. This technique provides the unbiased and better estimate of the parameter. This is the most unbiased method if the population is homogeneous. In this sampling method, population is expected to be homogeneous, as I mentioned. In order to employ the sampling method, there should be a list of individual or list of subject in the population. We should have a list. This list is called as sampling plane. So sampling plane is the list of all units or all individual within the scope of the survey or within the scope of the population. For example, for National Agriculture Survey, the sampling claim would be a list of people who engage in agricultural activities in the country. That means there should be a list which include all the people who practice agriculture in the country. That is called as the sampling claim. Another example, if I want to study some characteristic of your class, IQ ability. So my target population is student in your class. Then I should have a list of all the student in your class. It is called as the sampling plane. That list is called as the sampling plane. In order to implement in order to use simple random sampling, there should be a sampling plane. It is must. That sampling plane should be complete. All the individual in the population should be listed in that sampling plane. That is, there should not be omissions of any individual, or there should not be duplications of name of individual in that list. If these defects are present in your sampling plane, the sample drawn using that sampling plane will not be unbiased. It will be biased. Therefore, very important to prepare sampling plane carefully in order to draw a valid sample from using simple random sampling. These are some examples for sampling plane. If you want to view the critical perception of people, then you can use electoral register as the sampling plane. If someone want to know some characteristic of student population, then he can use attendance sheet as sampling plane. If someone want to study the characteristic of farmers, then list of farmers obtained from agrarian service division or some other place can consider as sampling plane. If someone want to study the characteristic of corona affected people, then he need to get a list of patient which is called as the sampling plane. From that you can select a sample using simple random sampling. That list we call as sampling plane. After preparing sampling plane, the individuals subject for the sample can be selected using several techniques. As lottery draw, you can write cheats for each and every individual in the sampling plane, or numbers corresponding to those individual, and put those cheats into a container and mix it well and grow or select required number of cheats. Assume we are going to select 50 individuals, then you can assume there are 1,000 individuals in your list, in the sampling frame, in your population. Then you can write cheats numbered from 1 to 1,000 and roll them and put into container, then mix well, then randomly, unintentionally get one by one 50 cheats. Then unfold that cheats and look at what is the selected numbers, and assume you selected number 25, number 52, number 58. Likewise, then you can mark those numbers from the sampling frame and contact those persons to collect the data. Or you can use random number tables or computer softwares to grow these samples. As I explained, you can write numbers 1 to n. N is the maximum number in your population, on cheats, separate cheats and put those into this container, then mix well, then grow one by one cheats and select those into the sample. In first method, what you can do, you can write cheats and put those into container and grow some cheats, required number of cheats, and select individuals. In second method, there are tables called random number table. Here, this is part of some one random number table. Likewise, there are many random number tables. I will show two random number tables, for example. Then this is a random number table. Here, numbers are listed in random order. This random number table consists of two digits. Here 77, 78, 77 again, 85, likewise. And 39, 92, 90, 27, likewise. So this random number can be used only to draw samples from population which is less than 100. There are some random number tables which consist of more digits. For example, this random number table consists of 5 digits. Here 60,000, 8,094. Here 76,006. Likewise, this table consists of 5 digits. So this random number can use to draw samples from a population with up to 100,000 individuals. 100,000 individuals. So first of all, you have to select appropriate random number table. Appropriate random number table according to your population size. Then you can pin your fingers by closing your eye and select a point. Randomly select a point. Close your eye and pin your fingers onto the table. Then assume you pointed here 24,777. Then from that onwards, you can read this table numbers and select those individual into your population. So first person you are going to select is numbered with 24,707. Second person you are going to select is person numbered with 76,938. Likewise, next person you are going to select is 66,291. Likewise, starting from random point, you can feed your random number table and select required number of sample size. So those will not be purposefully selected, it will be random. So second way is to select the individuals from using random number table. First way to use cheats. Second way is to use random number table. Third way is to use a computer software. Use a computer software. We can easily use Microsoft Excel into choose individual to our sample randomly. Here in first column of the Excel, you can type the numbers in your population. Assume there are 12 individuals in your population. Then you type numbers 1 to 12 in first column. If you have 10,000 individuals in your population, then you have to type 1 to 10,000 here. Some other statistical software are available like SAS, Minitab or SPS. In that software, you don't need to type these numbers individually, but you type range or maximum number of individual in the population. Assume 10,000. Then you have to type 10,000. Then it will generate random numbers, required number of random numbers from that range. In Excel, you have to type. Then in second column, you have to type this command with equal sign, that is equal RND within bracket. Then press enter. Once you press enter, it will automatically generate a number, random number. Here, this number has generated automatically. Then what you have to do is copy this number and paste it into other cells. Paste it into other cells. Then other cells also will consist of random number. Then these are randomly generated number from the computer. Then what you have to do is you have to sort both of these columns based on magnitude of this random number. In order to do that, you can go to data and sort based on column B. Here, sort column A and B by column B. Then when you sorted this data set based on this random number, then you will see this is the order received for this population. Now assume you want to, out of this 12 individual, you want to select only 6 individual. Then these are the individual that you are going to select. 6th individual, 11th individual, 4th individual, 10th individual, 8th individual and 3rd individual. So other individual will not be selected. Then these individual will include in your sample. So we learn 3 methods to select simple random sample from a population. First requirement is you should have list, we call as sampling claim. Then you can employ any of the three method we learn. Computer implementation is very easier. I will demonstrate it when we do a tutorial or practical class. So advantage and disadvantage simple random sampling method is advantages. The method is simple to implement and it requires no additional information. That is, we don't need additional information on gender or some other variable. All we need is list of population and their contact information. The biggest advantage is the statistical theory for this method is very well known, very well established. We can calculate any statistics if you draw a simple random sample. Also, standard formula exists for all parameters of the population. That is mean, variance, and uh, any other parameters of the population. Standard formula available to calculate. And formula are easy to use if you use simple random sample. Disadvantage, it may make no use of auxiliary information. Like in for example, for height, the gender is an auxiliary variable. That information is not used. Then it is not efficient. If some other characteristic is effect on the our interested variable, like gender affecting on the height. Other disadvantage is very expensive to use. When our population is dispersed around very large geographical area, we have to travel here and there to seek the individuals. Then it cannot be used if the list does not available. In order to implement the simple random sampling, we should have a list. If list is not available, we cannot use simple random sampling. This sampling method is useful for data collection if the population is heterogeneous. In simple random sampling, we told that population should be homogeneous. That is, all individuals should have similar characteristics with respect to our interested or research variable. But stratified random sampling can be used when the population is differ with respect to our investigating variable. For example, I can again take that height of student is vary with the gender. So if we implemented simple random sampling, it is sometime may select more male or more female. So it will be biased. Therefore, we can use stratified random sampling. In this sampling method, what we are doing is first population is divided into group, which is similar to their information on other variable. We called as auxiliary variable. Auxiliary variable. In our example, our auxiliary variable is gender. So based on the gender, our interested variable height is vary. Height is vary. Therefore, what we are doing, we are separating or dividing our population based on this auxiliary variable. to male and female. Then we will have some males there here, and we will have some females. Now from each group we select our sample, part from this group and part from this group. So these two will include in my sample. So separately, assume there are your batch size is 200, and there are 150 females and 50 males. So here 1/4 of your batch is male and 2/3 female. So if you are targeting to grow a sample of 40, then you can select 10 males, which is corresponding to the population proportion, 1/4, and 30 females randomly within your batch. So then the selection of these 40 individuals will be very fair. It will represent your population, your student population. So instead of selecting student entirely based on this your attendance sheet, first what you are doing, you are identifying males and identifying females, and from this male and female separately selecting student to sample. This is the sample. These groups, this individual group we called as strata. So this is one strata, this is another strata. So population, entire population we divide into strata. Within each strata, within each stratum, single is stratum, we select the individual separately. Another example, assume you are going to study about the paddy yield of palmers. These palmers may grow different varieties. Variety 1, variety 2, variety 3. So if you selected farmers who grow only one variety, it will be biased. Therefore, you have to select farmers representing all these who grow in all these paddy varieties. Therefore, according to the proportion in the population who have grow variety 1 and variety 2 and variety 3, you can select your sample. First, separate the farmers according to their paddy variety from the list. Then select randomly individuals to study. This is the sample. So the auxiliary variable, another variable is affecting our interested variable. In first case, height. In second case, paddy yield. If another variable affecting, then we have to group population or divide population according to that auxiliary variable and select individual or subject within each strata. So advantage and disadvantage of this stratified random sampling. Advantage, it is increase the precision. You can see if we implement the simple random sampling, in that case, when another variable is affected for our interested variable, our result will not be precise. So if another variable is affecting for our interested variable, then stratified random sampling is increasing the precision. Also, it will guarantee, this sample procedure will guarantee all the subgroups in the population will be investigated, covered. It is operationally convenient. It can protect against selecting bad sample, as I explained earlier. Disadvantage, the quality of stratified depend upon the quality of auxiliary information. So, as I told earlier, if we divided your student in class according to gender and test the IQ ability of those selected sample, so it will not be unbiased, because IQ ability from the literature is not vary with the gender. So if we implemented stratified random sampling, in that case we have limited inclusion of more boys or more girls into our sample. So it is not good if that IQ ability is not affected by gender. So here this is somewhat complex than selecting simple random sampling. In simple random sampling, what we need to do is we can get a list, then simply select required number of individual from that list. Here we need to divide that list into groups according to another variable. Then produce randomly, draw randomly individual from that each list separately. So it is somewhat tedious. Here, estimation to parameter from the stratified random sample is somewhat complex. Here we have some formulas to calculate mean, median, mode, and variance standard deviation in the simple random sampling. In the stratified random sampling, those formula somewhat differ. We have to use correct formula in order to calculate the variance likewise. So those formulas are somewhat different, somewhat complex, and we will learn those in later courses. Then next sampling method is cluster sampling. Here it is also a random sampling, probability sampling. Here we are selecting clusters randomly. Here population is divided into multiple groups. For example, assume I want to select sample from your class. Then what in your class you are sitting in rows. Then what I can do is I can number these rows and randomly select 2-3 rows. Assume I selected this row and this row, and each individual in that row will be investigated. So each student in that selected row will be used for the study. So this cluster, entire cluster will be used. So a selection of cluster is random, and selection of individual in the cluster is not random. Here all the individuals will be investigated. Another example, if you want to study some characteristic about farmers, you can group, assume in Anuradhapura district, you can group those farmers into several farm organization level. Farm organization in Anuradhapura district 1, farm organization 2, likewise farm organization n. Then randomly select one or two, several farm organizations. Then study the required characteristic of all the individuals in those selected farmer organization. So this is the cluster. Within cluster, we are not selecting individuals. We are including all the individuals of that selected cluster. So advantage and disadvantage of this cluster sampling method is advantage. Cluster sampling greatly reduce cost in time and organization, because once you selected cluster, assume farm organization 5, you can travel to that village, and so you have to travel only within that village. If you used simple random sampling, these farmers will not in one village. They may in all over the Anuradhapura district. So you have to travel in whole district in order to catch these selected farmers. But here you need to go only to particular farmer organization of that village, and then go to houses of farmers, and get the information. So traveling can be reduced. So it is easy to apply also. Here another advantage is we don't need list of farmers. We don't need list of farmers. Only thing we need is list of farmer organization. Farm organization 1, farm organization 2, farm organization n, likewise. We don't need farmer 1, farmer 2, farmer n. This list I don't need. This is often efficient when these clusters are homogeneous. Sorry. Disadvantage, it is less efficient if the members of the cluster are homogeneous. Our selected farmer organization and their farmers have cultivated same paddy variety, then there will not be variability. So if we selected such farmer organizations, then our estimate will be biased. So if within farm organization, if those have cultivated several paddy varieties, then selecting cluster sample is efficient. In general, sample size is not known in advance. In this method, we don't know how many sample farmers will be selected into our farm, our sample, because we are selecting several clusters, and in those clusters, we don't know how many farmers are there. Here also another disadvantage is formula to compute the variance is somewhat complex. It is not simply summation yi minus y bar square divided by n minus 1. So in your course, we use as xi minus x bar square summation divided by n minus 1. This is not applicable cluster sampling. We have to have some modification. Then systematic sampling. Here, in systematic sampling, the first unit of sample selected at random and subsequent units are selected in a systematic way, particular using particular uh, system or particular pattern. Here, if there are n number of units in the population and n may be 1,000, 200,000 or 5 million, any number. This is the population size. And n unit are to be selected. Assume we want to select out of 550 units or out of 200,000, 10 100 units likewise are to be selected. Then what you have to do is first you have to find the value or number called sampling interval. Sampling interval is the population number of individual in the population divided by number of sample. So this is the sampling interval. First, you have to identify your sampling interval. Then, within first sampling interval, you select an individual randomly. So, you divide your population into sampling intervals. Within this first sampling interval, you select one individual randomly. Then, next the individual included into your sample will be this number assigned to this individual plus the sample interval. Next one will be this number plus sampling interval. Next number will be this number plus sampling interval. Likewise, you will continue up to selecting n number of individuals. For example, if there are 500 individuals in your population and if you want to select 10 individual as your sample size is 10, then sampling interval will be 500 divided by 10, that is 50. Sampling interval is 50. So you divide your population into 10 groups where each group will include 50 individuals. So within first 50 individual, within this 50 individual, you can select one individual randomly. Assume you selected individual is bearing number 2. Then next individual that you need to include is not selected randomly. It will be this 2 plus your sampling interval k, that is equal to k equal to 50. So 52nd individual will be included in your sample. Next time you will include 52 plus 50, 102nd individual. Then this plus 50 will be included. Likewise, until complete your sample size 10, you select individual using this system, this pattern. So it is called as the systematic sampling. So advantage and disadvantage of this sampling method is advantage easy to execute, and also easy to understand. So we have a control and we have a logic to select this sampling. Here, first we select the sample randomly within first sampling interval. Then we select those in a using a pattern. Then we eliminate the cluster selection. In cluster sampling, we selected clusters, and from that cluster, all the farmers will be included. If those farmers are homogeneous, that is a problem. That sample will not represent the group of farmers. But here it is not. We are selecting first farmer randomly, and other one is according to particular pattern. These selecting farmers may belong to different groups, different who are cultivating different varieties. This advantage need to know the population size. So in order to find the sampling interval, we need to know the population size in advance. In cluster sampling, we don't need to know the population size. So need for natural randomness. Assume when we implementing this systematic sampling, if in the population individuals are appear according to particular pattern, then this sampling method will not represent the population. For example, assume in your class, students are sitting according to particular pattern. In front have shortest student. In here you have somewhat taller student. In back you have taller student. Student has sit in the class according to particular pattern. So if you select one student randomly and repeat a sampling by selecting individual according to particular pattern, so a sample will be biased because in the population the individual have arranged according to particular pattern. So in this selection, our sample will not represent all the group of students. Here, another disadvantage is we have risk of manipulating data. Researcher can select first individual as he want, and then selection of other individual will be he expected because there is a pattern. If he somehow manipulate the first individual for selection, then other individuals will be as he expected if there is a pattern. Then next method is quarter sampling. Here this is a non-probability sampling, non-random sampling. People use frequently for their easiness. Here, first you decide the sample size. Then identify the segment in the population. Identify the segment in the population. Assume you are going to find out the income of farmers. So you have your population farmers. You are going to study the income of farmers. So there are, we can categorize farmers into several types. Paddy farmers, then vegetable farmers, milk farmers, poultry farmers. Likewise, you can categorize into farm groups. Then what you can do is you divide this population sample size also according to proportion to the population. Assume there are 1,000 farmers in the population, and there are 500 paddy farmers and 200 vegetable farmers and 200 milk farmers and 100 poultry farmers. Then if your sample is size 100, then this sample size also divided according to this population proportion. Then paddy farmers 50, vegetable farmers 20, then milk farmers 20, then poultry farmers 10. After identifying each quota that we need to select, then go to that farming community and meet farmers and ask what are the crop you are growing, what is the farming activity you are engaged in. Likewise, from farmers you can get information. Then if he is a paddy farmer, then you can collect the information. Then move again across the village, then ask about the next farmer's farming activity. He is a milk farmer, and then select and collect the information. Assume now you collected information from 49 paddy farmers. Then again you are moving, then you found another paddy farmer. From that farm also you collect information. Then again you are moving, and again you selected, you met another farmer, paddy farmer, who is a 51 individual paddy farmer. Now you are not selecting or collecting information from that farm because your quota is now complete. Your quota is now complete, that is 50. So once the quota is completed, allocated amount is completed, no more farmers or individual from that group is selected in the quota sampling. So this is a purposive sampling method. First, divide the sample according to the proportion in the population. Then until each subset, allocation for each subset is completed, you work around the village or meet the individuals. When the particular subset or particular quota is completed, no more individuals are going to included in that sample. So this is a quota sampling is a non-random sampling method. Another example is there. So advantage and disadvantage of quota sampling. Advantage is relatively easy. We can perform quickly, less time consuming, cost effective. We need to go to village and walk around the village and catch the farmers. May represent the proportion in the population. Here we divide the sample according to the population proportion. So then sample will be represent the population proportions. As the farmers in the population, we will select them to our sample also. A useful method when probability sampling technique are not possible. Sometimes, if the list is not available, we cannot implement the probability sampling or random sampling, stratified random sampling. In that case, this is a useful method. Disadvantage: sample selection is not random. So each and every farmer will not have equal chance to select into the sample. There is a possibility of selecting bias sample therefore. So next sampling method is multi-stage sampling method. Multi-stage sampling method. Next sampling method is multi-stage sampling. This is used when survey has to cover wide geographical area. So assume in particular survey, Department of Census and Statistics need to find out the life expectancy or some other characteristic of Sri Lankan. Then there, Sri Lanka is very large land area. In that we can divide this geographical area into several provinces. Within each province, we know we have district. Within each district, we have DS divisions, divisional secretariat division, DS divisions. Then within each division, DS divisions, you have GN division, Grama Nigada divisions, likewise. So instead of selecting individuals from all over the country, researcher can select several provinces randomly. These provinces will be selected. Then within that province, we know that there are several districts. So from selected province, few districts will be selected randomly. This was selected and this was selected. Then from selected district, you know there are several divisional secretariat divisions, DS divisions. So out of these, few DS divisions can be selected randomly. Then within selected divisional secretariat, there are several GN divisions or villages, several villages. Then few village can be selected. So from selected village, individual can select randomly or using any other technique we learn up to now. Random technique or simple random sampling or stratified random sampling, stratified random sampling, or cluster sampling. Any method, by using any method, can select the individual in the last level. So here you can see we have selected this sample last level in several stage. This is first stage, this is second stage, this is third stage, this is fourth stage, and this is fifth stage. So we can say this is the 5-stage sampling. This is 5-stage sampling. Some sampling method may have 2-stage sampling, 3-stage sampling. This is a 5-stage sampling. In each stage, you can use different method. Here you can purposely select. Assume someone want to know the characteristic about the fish farmers. Then it is not useful to select some farmers from provinces. Those have not fish farmers. So those provinces can be eliminated, and select first, choose the provinces those are having fish farmers. Then assume southern province is selected. Then there district you can select randomly if all the district have fish farmers in southern province. Likewise, these selection of each stage can be using any sampling method we learn up to so far. So in multi-stage sampling, it is a combination of sampling method where sample is selected at several stages. So advantage of this multi-stage sampling method is it is effective in primary data collection from large geographical area. As I told, if we want to cover entire Sri Lanka, then this method is very useful. If we select choose to select a simple random sampling, it will be very difficult. We have to travel across entire island, all over the island, in order to catch the selected farmers. But here, in several stages, we can limit. At the end, you need to visit selected villages only. Other one is cost effectiveness and time effectiveness. So here we can reduce the cost of traveling and time for traveling. So cost effective and time effective. So this is information taken from this method can be generalized because here we use several stages. In those stages, we can use most suitable method to select sample. As I told earlier, we can use purposive method if there are no interested farmer in particular province or district or likewise. Disadvantage: if the selected cluster do not capture the characteristic diversity of population, the population would not be representative of the population. So here, if the selected province is homogeneous, then it will not represent the other characteristic of individuals. For example, if the fishermen are all alike, If we selected only southern province and avoid the central province, so if these southern province palm individuals are not represent the characteristic of central province, so that selected sample will not be representative since we avoid the central province farmers. If the characteristic variable used for making strata in case of heterogeneity at any stage is not appropriately selected, depend on the nature of investigation, the whole research may go vain. So the selected strata is not represent the characteristic, so our study objective cannot be achieved. Therefore, there is a risk of wrong conclusion when we use this multi-stage sampling, since some individuals are avoiding for inclusion in the sample.